I'd like to honor the memory and the very recent passing of Thich Nhat Hanh, a man and a venerated teacher who very much embodied the qualities of Metta and all the Brahma Viharas by sharing a quote from him. And I would like to use his wise words as a springboard for our talk today. In my faith tradition, it is taught that when we share the words and the teachings of a departed person, their presence in some meaningful way becomes very much here with us. So here are his words and his teaching. When you plant lettuce, if it does not grow well, you don't blame the lettuce. You look for reasons it is not doing well. It may need fertilizer, or more water, or less sun. You never blame the lettuce. Yet, if we have problems with our friends or family, we blame the other person. But if we know how to take care of them, they will grow well, like the lettuce. Blaming has no positive effect at all, nor does trying to persuade using reason and argument. That is my experience. No blame, no reasoning, no argument, just understanding. If you understand, and you show you understand, you can love, and the situation will change. I think we can all feel into the truth of this. We have all probably had moments, even if they were short and discrete moments, when we felt into this simple and profound truth. Like the reflection of our own face on the surface of still water. When we can turn toward another and open our heart, which is reflected in our words, our tone of voice, our facial expressions and body language, then we can see the resulting impact and change in the other. Today's talk focuses on some of the challenges of Metta. Specifically, the challenges we can experience when we intend and try to bring Metta to that one human being we know above all others, the one we have and will always spend the most time with, ourselves. Let's face it, we aren't always such wonderful company for ourselves. When I was preparing this talk, I was reminded of a poem by Wendell Berry, and here it is. Do not think me gentle, because I speak in praise of gentleness, or elegant, because I honor the grace that keeps this world. I am a man crude as any, gross of speech, intolerant, stubborn, angry, full of fits and furies. That I may have spoken well at times is not natural. A wonder is what it is. Wow, those lines describe me so very well. As crude as any, gross of speech, intolerant, stubborn, angry, full of fits and furies. Of course, this isn't always me. Of course, this isn't all of me. But there are times, more than I'd really prefer to admit or acknowledge, when the reactive power of aversion can be so strong within me. In those moments, my mind may be filled with negative, unwholesome, even hateful thoughts. In those moments, my body may be burning hot with anger and fury, seething. My prefrontal cortex is temporarily hijacked and offline. The fight or flight response has kicked in. And I just want to rage against the perceived injustice done to me. Anger, especially righteous anger, has this seductive quality and pull to it. There are other times when the type and quality of aversion makes me feel little, small, ashamed, like I don't want to be seen, like I don't deserve to be seen or feel loved or cared for. The body feels tight, constricted, and shrunken in. These are moments where my body, my mind, and my emotions are all experiencing a version of a different type, perhaps that of flight or freeze. In the traditional practice of metta, we settle the body. We bring some quiet and stillness to the body and the mind. And then we say phrases to ourselves, listening to the words we're saying in our mind, allowing ourselves to feel into the words. Phrases like, may I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I live with ease. And similar phrases. Traditionally, metta is directed first to ourselves, then to a loved one, then to a neutral person, then to an adversary or an enemy. But this isn't always so easy. Sometimes it can seem like we have metta available for others, for loved ones, for all beings, even for those we don't like. But for ourselves, sometimes it seems like we may have made what I call a deal with the devil. I'll be full of light and love. I'll try to personify a bodhisattva, an enlightened being. Just don't ask me to bring this light and love to and for myself. There can be a real felt sense of resistance or rejection, of denying metta for ourselves. There's an aversion we tend to have to our aversion experiences. We believe that if only we were a better person, a more spiritually developed person, then we wouldn't be thinking and feeling this way. And of course, this type of ill will only strengthens and feeds more ill will and more negative self-judgment. Perhaps that's okay. Maybe I can only expect to practice metta when I'm feeling kind and generous and spacious with myself, or at the very least, tolerant toward myself. Maybe during moments like these, metta can be practiced toward another or others, but not to and with myself. But metta is not just an attitudinal commitment, which we've previously discussed. Metta is also a verb. Metta is the act of befriending both the lovely and the difficult. So we must resolve this somehow. We must befriend not just certain people, but also our own mind, body, and mood states, including the very ones which are so unpleasant, so challenging, so off-putting. But how? I read the following words from author Jeff Brown in one of his books entitled Love It Forward, and it is worth sharing with you. I used to try to punch my way through people's walls. I didn't understand that they were there for a reason, and often essential to their own survival. I did the same with my own walls. Neither got me anywhere. The walls just got tougher, denser, more resilient. Now I have a different approach. I pray to walls. I honor their wisdom. I stroke them with kindness. I melt them with gentleness. And if they still insist on standing firm, I leave them be. Walls have a timeline all their own. There is some serious wisdom in this. Whatever the specific form of aversion I am experiencing, I see it as a wall because it functions as such. It blocks me from myself. It blocks me from heartfulness. Aversion and ill will don't feel open and welcoming. In this sense, they are my wall. Can it be stroked with kindness? Can it be melted with gentleness? If it allows for this, then the practice and the phrases of metta may themselves be helpful and supportive. But when it can't, when the wall blocking me from an open and kind and caring heart is so strong and so thick that it feels like nothing will open it, there is still something available for me, even here in this space. I can choose to let the wall be. In that moment, I can acknowledge the truth of impermanence, that nothing, including this very aversive body, mood, and mind state, will last forever. And I can see this moment for what it really is. A moment where I am experiencing some form of aversion, be it fear, ill will, or anger. As teacher Christina Feldman writes, if the inclination of mindfulness is to turn toward all experience, the inclination of metta is to learn that we can stand beside or near to that which we turn toward. The inclination of metta is to learn that we can stand beside or near to that which we turn toward. We do not have to love the difficult, but we can care about it and befriend it. And every moment that we befriend that which we previously either feared or abandoned makes a difference. Metta and mindfulness together, she writes, are guardians of the heart. What we are saying today is that sometimes the act of metta is to even guard the aversive walls that are around the heart. To understand them, to appreciate their very existence. Because all anger is essentially and functionally protecting oneself from pain and or fear. This isn't me being bad or evil. This is me being protective. This way of understanding is metta. It is the action state metta sometimes needs to be. We meet ourselves where we are, just the way we are, in this moment, here and now. There is so much learning and wisdom available for us, even in and perhaps because of our aversion states. Can we see the narratives it generates in the thinking mind? Can we see the various forms of selfing that are happening in these moments? All the various statements and thoughts we're having that are full of I, me, and mine. Can we see the distancing the aversion thoughts are creating, be they between us and another, or us with ourselves? And standing guard in this spacious, wise, and understanding way, what happens? What sort of unfolding occurs, even if slowly, even if gradually? To echo the words of Thich Nhat Hanh I shared earlier, no blame, no reasoning, no argument, just understanding. If you understand and you show you understand, you can love and the situation will change. I want to end today's talk with some beautiful words written by John O'Donohue. When we encounter those walls around our hearts, we would do well to recall these words. This is the time to be slow. lie low to the wall until the bitter weather passes. Try as best you can not to let the wire brush of doubt scrape from your heart all sense of yourself and your hesitant light. If you remain generous, time will come good, and you will find your feet again on fresh pastures of promise, where the air will be kind and blushed with beginning. Thank you for your kind and caring attention.